Welcome to In the News with Double O Des. I'm Des Bernardo, giving you my perspective on news from South Africa and the rest of the world.
In the news now, a very important article on Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma having to explain to the court why a state of disaster was actually declared. And it's apparent that she's actually really battling with this. In News 24, the headline reads, "Dodging questions. Dlamini Zuma does not have available the reason a state of disaster was declared." Now, this is absolutely shocking, of course, the fact that the minister, who's in charge of this absolute farce, cannot answer why she's committing a farce. So, it says here that COGTA Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma responded to several written parliamentary questions about key lockdown matters, saying the applicable information is not available. How inconvenient that the information is not available to us. And how convenient for her to make such a pathetic statement. How can you be a minister within a country and not have the knowledge to actually be able to answer something as simple as this? Yet she has responded to some of the matters in court papers or in response to oral questions in Parliament. Misleading Parliament in written answers is a breach of the executive member's ethics code. But our ministers are no new to doing this, as well as our presidents, as you should all know. So, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma does not have the reasons why the COVID-19 pandemic was declared a national disaster available, which means that she had nothing to do with that decision. And as I've told you before, that this was driven by the United Nations and the World Health Organization, and she's just one of their puppets. And the article that I will release on her tomorrow, the video on Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, you will understand why that is the case, why she is a puppet just like President Cyril Ramaphosa. And it'll become very apparent to you that what the mainstream media has been telling you about her is far from the truth. But the truth will make sense, and when you hear the truth from me, you will understand in what big trouble we are if we don't change the system that we find ourselves in immediately. The scientific rationale relied on to ban the sale of tobacco products is also not available, nor the reasons why alcohol sales are allowed under level 3 lockdown. So they have absolutely nothing available to show. This according to Dlamini Zuma's recent written replies to questions posted by opposition MPs, which were published in the past week. So MPs in Parliament are allowed to ask questions of the ministers, and during these questions, she's saying that these reasons aren't available. So either they are actually doing things that should be public knowledge in secret, or they just don't want to give answers to these questions because there are none available, because their New World Order puppet associations and organizations are protecting them and telling them nothing will happen to you, don't worry, you just do what we say and we will protect you. And I can tell you now 100% that this is how it's gone down, and that Dlamini Zuma doesn't care what anyone else says. The same as the Minister of Education, Angie Motshekga, doesn't care about all the things she's implementing. As long as she's keeping a job and a power, which is what she's been promised, it's a payoff, and that's a sellout. It doesn't matter that they teach all this rubbish to your kids in school, or that we now have boys that can compete in athletics against girls in our schools. If you're not aware of this, then you need to become aware of these things, because it's important that you start waking up as to what's happening around you before it becomes impossible for you to do something about it. But let's continue. Dear MP Giselle Opperman asked her, what are the reasons that informed the decision to declare COVID-19 a national disaster instead of a provincial or local disaster? And what data was used to classify the disaster in terms of the Disaster Management Act? Dlamini Zuma's full response said, the reasons that informed the decision to declare COVID-19 a national disaster will be submitted to the honourable members as soon as the detailed information is available. Thank you. I don't know whether I should laugh or cry, because you should be extremely concerned that this is the answer that Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma gives the people of South Africa, you and me, because the MP that asks this question represents you and me. They should not represent a party in Parliament. They should represent the constituents, and that is you and me. They need to ask questions for us and fight further for us. Now, my question is simple. Is this MP asking a question to say to their constituents, yes, we've asked a question, or will they fight and do more? Will they rally people to do something about this? The answer is no, because they're part of the same sick organization. And this is where it'll end, with a question. And that is the problem. Dear MP Zakele Mbele asked, with reference to her assertion that the sale and use of tobacco products is associated with increased risk of the spread of SARS-CoV-2, which he used to justify the prohibition of tobacco product sales, what is a scientific rationale and empirical basis for the prohibition? Whether she and or her department assessed the countervailing hypothesis that nicotine usually minimizes the risk of SARS-CoV-2 infection, as suggested by data showing a disproportionate underrepresentation of habitual smokers in infection cases. We all know about this, and this I've spoken about at length in my previous videos on the smoking prohibition. If not, why not? If so, what conclusions have been drawn in this regard? He received the exact same response as Opperman. This is unbelievable. This is not the first time Dlamini Zuma dodged a written question about the controversial tobacco ban. Now, she is not allowed to dodge questions. She is supposed to give answers. That's the whole point of parliamentary oversight. So this is a blatant disregard for the Constitution. If she as a minister has no answers, it means that she has puppet masters pulling her strings. And now she has no answer because she doesn't actually know what's going on. I want you to subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon so you can get notifications when more videos like this comes out. There's many court cases in court at the moment, as well as the appeal from government against the declaring of the level 3 and 4 lockdown conditions as unconstitutional by the Pretoria High Court. And I will keep you updated with regards to that. So please subscribe. I'll bring you the news on that. I'm not going through the rest of the article now. As usual, you can read the rest of the article in the link in the description underneath the video. But remember, at the moment, our government has absolutely trampled all over what is good in our Constitution and ripped it to shreds. They do not care about you and me. They have sent the military in amongst us to police us. This is not a military function. We are not under a state of emergency. Once again, our government is not a government that is democratic. Our elections are a farce. Our governance system is a farce. And the solution, for those of you that say we always talk and we do nothing, this channel is about doing something. We need to change the system of governance as well as our electoral system. If you can't help me in this fight, then this channel will just become pointless to you because we are sharing information here. And I thank all of you for subscribing, for inviting your friends, for sending me all the wonderful messages, for your massive support for this movement to change our governance system and change our electoral system. Our Constitutional Court has judged and ruled on this, and we have won. The fact that individuals can run for independent positions within Parliament and Provincial Parliament was a huge victory, but we need to take it one step further. We cannot have parties decide who the President, the Premier or the Mayor of the country is. They need to be elected independently for us to get the clutches that the New World Order agencies have over our parties right now. And if this lockdown has not been ample proof of that fact, then I don't know what will be. Till the next video.